Thanks for joining me on Realty Tips with Angela. I'm your host, Angela Pommer, with Cascade Sotheby's International Realty. Our tip today is for buyers. And the question, is this still a good time to buy? So shed some more light on the topic. I have got Vince Kingston, a loan officer from Guild Mortgage. Vince, thank you so much for being here. So that's the question I'm getting. Is this a good time to buy? Interest rates are skyrocketing. What say you from your perspective?
Great. Well, Angela, thank you for having me here. I really appreciate the opportunity to chat with you folks out there. And I do have a counterpoint to this because yes, interest rates are high. Interest rates are high relative to where they were 6 months ago, but it's not something for nothing, Angela. Something has really shifted in our market. All right. So let me paint you a picture. 9 months ago, and for the prior 2 years before that, what you would experience largely as a buyer is, say you were interested in purchasing a $500,000 home. Ultimately, that home would go for $50,000 to $100,000 over list, and there'd be 10 to 20 offers on that home. It was a very, very difficult period for buyers. All right. So yes, interest rates were lower then, but highly competitive, very demoralizing, and chances are you're going to pay well over list. All right. Compare that to today, where the power is more on the buyer's side. You that same $500,000 home, you'll probably be able to get that for $500,000 or maybe even a slight discount below list. And furthermore, what we're also seeing, again, this is anecdotal, but what I'm seeing now that we've never saw in the prior years is seller concessions. So 75% of the contracts I'm receiving now have seller concessions. What that means is not only you're not paying $50,000 or $100,000 over for the same house, which counteracts the higher rates if you're not overpaying for the home, but also you're often able to negotiate for the seller to pay for your closing cost or to help buy down your interest rate. So from my vantage point, trying to navigate people through this horribly competitive market we had during COVID, where it was no fun for anyone and everyone paying over list, this is much more of a ideal time to buy. And then you wed that with the concept that, again, there's no guarantee going forward, but I've been in the business for almost 20 years. Interest rates rise and fall. I have a 20-year history that I've personally experienced that they rise and fall. They come and go. There's been 10 distinct refinance boom over the last 20 years where interest rates declined by 1% or much more from a prior high. So from my perspective, the idea should be, I'm buying at an ideal time where there's a lot less competition. I'm not going to overpay for the home, and I'm going to consider this interest rate temporary. I'm going to marry the home and I'm going to date the rate, because most likely there'll be an opportunity in the future to refinance out of that. And then the last thing I'd say, Angela, is unfortunately, it's not going to get easier. And so this is not gloom and doom, but this is just being really objective. And I know we're not doing video on this call, so I don't have charts to show you, but this is first page Google information that everyone can find out there. And the fact of the matter is, we've underbuilt housing in this country for 15 years. We've never built enough housing in any given year for 15 years since 2008 to meet normal annual household formation. So the shortage of inventory that we're still experiencing, short of massive government intervention, is not going to change anytime soon. So from a strategic perspective, I would much rather purchase now while there's a cooling period where I can pay, what the home is listed for, if not get a discount, get the seller to pay some of my closing costs, as opposed to wait for a year or two when interest rates do go down and we have this massively competitive market again and needing even less inventory. That's just my data-driven opinion, and I hope that gives some folks perspective out there.
Great. Well, thank you so much for that answer. So pretty much it sounds like if you do want to buy and can buy, go ahead and do so now, because you're probably going to get the home for much less than a number of months ago or a year ago. And then you
Correct.
can also still work on the interest rates as well. And because now sellers have that motivation to move the homes off the market, and there are so many other loan options that are out there that buyers can take advantage of. So this definitely is a good time to buy. We don't want to wait until interest rates go down, as if they actually do go down and then we get the massively competitive market that we've
Correct.
had, before.
Absolutely.
All right then, great. Now I know that we've also had some polls where you have talked to us about location-specific loan options that are out there, and they are very fantastic. I would want to invite you again at some point in time for us to talk about those. But other than that, thank you so much for shedding some more light on this. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for spending your time with me today. If you've got any question regarding the topic that we shared today, or one that you would like us to touch on, please go ahead and leave your comments or contact me. And then, of course, I would get another video going. If any one of you are interested as well in some of the reports that Vince has talked about here, also send your comments or email to me, and then I can get that out to you. If you have any questions regarding real estate, and I am your go-to girl, Angela Ipoma from Cascade Sotheby's International, please feel free to get a hold of me, and then we can also go ahead and take care of those. Thanks again for joining us with Realty Tips. Angela Ipoma. Have a fabulous day. Thank you, Vince.
Thank you, Angela.